Okay, so I bought the Dark Souls Remastered guidebook. I have every Dark Souls guide. I usually get the guides when they come out just so I can make sure that I got everything in every area. Sometimes I use the wikis if the guides are incorrect or missing something. I double check the wikis. There's just a series of guides that I've always gotten, kind of like Zelda games. I like to collect everything in Zelda games. So anyways, this is the back of the new guide. They make it a point to say all of the original data and strategies have been expertly updated, and entirely new sections have been added. So this is a review. I'm just going to let you know what to expect from this guide, what not to expect. So let's get into it. This is the back of the guide. Again, when you open the guide, you will see this. The data in this guide, at the time this was completed, all of the information in this guide, all information it contains was accurate as it could be, but an online game such as Dark Souls could evolve through patches, blah, 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 blah. So keep in mind, they say in the preface, all information it contains was as accurate as it could be at the time this guide was completed. Now, I apologize for the blurry pictures. They were with my phone, so... So they're basically saying here that their guide is accurate. That's great. I was excited. I was like, okay, let's see how many mistakes they corrected. So I opened the first section, which is enemy. Well, not the first section. The first section that means anything to me is the enemy drops, because I like to get every drop in every game. So let's take a look. Pinwheel Servant was one of the first I noticed. It says it doesn't drop anything. This is not the Pinwheel boss, but this is the 6 Pinwheel Servants that appear towards the end of the Tomb of the Giants. No item drops. Really? Well, let's just take a look on Google real quick. Dark Souls Pinwheel Servant. And I'm not saying that these wikis are always 100% accurate. I found mistakes in wikis, but as you can see here, this wiki claims that they have drops. I've seen Pinwheel drop things. Let's look at another wiki. Here we go. Here's the Fextra Life wiki. Oh, what do you know? That's the same as what the other wiki said. So clearly, I mean, someone at some point making this guide should have said, oh, let me just Google that real quick to make sure that our information is correct. And even if they Googled it and they found that the wiki said all of these drops existed, that doesn't mean they should say, oh, well, that wiki information is correct. This wiki can be edited by anyone. What they should do is say, hold on, before we publish this, let's double check this information. Let's farm these Pinwheel Servants for a little while just to see if they drop anything. Let's try to confirm what other people are saying. And it's consistent across the board. They did not fix any of these drop issues inside the enemy drop section. They think that this guy does not drop the Skull Lantern for whatever reason. Dark Wraiths apparently don't drop the stuff that they normally drop, so they only have Titanite listed. Whenever you look up Dark Souls, Dark Wraith, you can see... Oh wait, that's the Covenant, sorry. Dark Wraith enemy. Dark Hand, they drop rarely, according to this wiki. And let's take another look at this. This is a different wiki. Drops, Dark Hand. So there you have it. I mean, that's 2 different wikis. I mean, if multiple wikis are telling you something and your information contradicts it, it might be worth looking at again. If you are farming this and it says it drops Sentinel Shield, you'd have a hard time getting it to drop Sentinel Shield because Sentinel Shield does not exist. It's called Giant Shield, which I'll show a picture of later. And that's just I mean, it's a naming issue, but still, it's irritating that they didn't fix it in this remastered guide or whatever. egg carriers. They're saying that they don't drop egg vermifuge. And then getting to the actual map sections, one of the big irksome things about this, they did not correct any of the maps as far as like design or anything. The maps can get really convoluted and they don't really explain a lot. They just have like numbered sections that say, oh, here, do this thing here and then run over there. And they don't walk you through getting any of the items. They don't walk you through finding every bonfire. One of the bonfires in the catacombs, for instance, they just gloss over, and it's just a weird placement on the map that they never really explain. Anyways, one of the big irksome deals about this is the important items section. So a lot of times they'll list important things like keys, armor sets, rare weapons, rings. It's good information. However, they're not consistent with it. Important items, they list a key here. Well, they don't list this archive tower giant door key in this. And another thing is they don't list the Avalon over here, which is also in Duke's archives. They don't list that as important, even though it's the only way to get it, as far as I know. And I mean, it's just looking, just glossing through this. I mean, I grabbed it. I mean, it came in through the mail from Amazon, and I just picked it up and I just flipped through it, and I found these in like 5 minutes or less. I wasn't even looking for, I was looking for things that may have been fixed, but I didn't remember all of them. I was just kind of flipping through, and I found all of this in like 5 minutes. It's ridiculous. If they would have just hired anyone that has any experience with Dark Souls, because the players don't just breeze through the game. They generally get everything and they know where everything's at. If they would have just said, hey, can you just look at this for us real quick? We'll pay you this much to just go through and look at it. Just make sure everything's right. And it's not that hard. It's ridiculous. And again, in this section, important items, they don't list this annex key over here. That's kind of important if you want to unlock the thing to get to the, one of the embers or whatever. It's like, come on, man. And this was the picture of the giant shield. This is the one that they keep calling, and they have it correct here, what drops it. But in the enemy drop section, they just have it listed as Sentinel Shield for some reason. They added a chapter on online combat. It's very basic. It's like, oh, you might experience a little lag. They actually have a section saying, oh, you might experience a little lag of a quarter of a second or something. And it's like, what? Why are you even writing about this? So it's kind of meh. They did add a lore section, which is basically this chart. And this is the 2 pages that has the chart. And then it goes to talk about some stuff based on the item descriptions and stuff. So if you don't know anything about the lore and you just want to read about the lore, that's fine, whatever. It's small section. It's kind of cool, I guess. They go through a lot of item descriptions and stuff, so if you haven't read the item descriptions or don't want to scroll through all of your inventory after getting everything, you can just look at this. And that's really about it. They did add the DLC content maps and stuff. That spans across 12 pages, so very short. So really that's the big new addition, I guess you could say. They did add the new items and stuff inside the equipment section, which I didn't really go through the equipment section too detailed, but it seemed like it was valid. But I'm not going to go and boot up the game and test every single weapon to check the numbers and the scaling and all that. So, long story short, they did not correct any of the mistakes that I remembered just off the top of my head. And they added 12 pages for the DLC maps and some equipment information, which you could easily Google. Bottom line is, I don't think this is worth buying. I think that we should hold guide creators to a little bit of a higher standard than a wiki. And to see wikis have more accurate information on this game than this remastered guide, they had a second chance to get it right, is very disappointing. I have it. It's gonna sit in the collection of all the other Souls guides that I have. But I mean, it was a botched release. It really was. I mean, we were just getting it today. I mean, it's June 5th. I mean, when did the game come out? I mean, it's already been a while. The guide was delayed or whatever, and we just got it, and it's, I mean, none of the mistakes are fixed. I mean, it's pretty sad. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you bought it anyway, or you still think it's worth getting. I'd love to hear your opinion, thoughts, whatever. If you enjoyed this kind of content, let me know. Maybe I'll do more reviews like this in the future. I saw the mistakes and I kind of wanted to make a video on it. So thanks for watching.